Well, we could have had you guys come in before our practice at 7:45 this morning, so I did you a favor. But excited today. We got through practice number 4. I thought through 4 practices. Everybody's guaranteed 15. That kind of been our slogan, right? What are you going to do with number 4? And I thought our guys maximize it today. Because we were coming off a break, I did our red area work on Monday as well as today, trying to minimize the field spacing just to avoid soft tissue injuries. We've stayed pretty healthy to this point. So I thought practice 4 was really good. Kind of a crazy time right now, all that's going on. I literally was just upstairs on a phone call with a Denver paper about Dre Greenlaw, who just signed with them. And last night I got news that Tommy DeVito was going to be joined by Russell Wilson, 2 of my favorite ever one-year wonders at quarterback, to be on the same roster with now Jameis Winston. Like, it's just, I guess it's because I'm older in life and I know more people. There's many different things that you're drawn to every day. It's just been a really fun spring, really enjoyable. Our guys have been awesome. I think some of the newcomers have really kind of stepped forward, as well as some of the incoming freshmen. A lot of our returning players, just on offense, Luke, the way he's handling and managing. I thought Kapka Jones, Malik Elzy, Hank Beatty at the wide receiver, but that, running with the second group, you got obviously Hudson, you got J-Bo and I'm trying to think who else was the third. Braden Trimble, like those 3 guys with the 2 wide receivers, just special. Really thought our offensive line, especially the first units, played extremely well. The back end on defense, even though we have Miles Scott and Xavier Scott out, Matt Bailey, Mac Rusudich have taken a huge step forward. Caleb Patterson is playing as good as he's played up front. We look really good. And I think the 2 newcomers, especially inside, James Thompson and Kurt, have really been impressive for us up front. 2 newcomer linebackers, Ish and Grant Bierman are very, very impressive players. They've showed up on film. So Dylan Rosiak is back out there running around, so it's fun to have him. So I could go on and on, but I'm excited about where we're at. Let you guys have questions.
You mentioned the wide receivers. You had a lot of competition there.
Yeah.
What is that competition like? How is that impacting your returners like Malik?
Yeah, we always say competition brings the best out of people, and at Malik Elzy is playing at a really high level. He walked Matt Bailey off the line of scrimmage yesterday that I think everybody was kind of like, whoa, but that's what Malik is. Malik's a very big, strong, athletic, talented receiver. I think the other guy, Kapka Jones, has really had a nice spring, had a great offseason. Those guys look different. Ashton Hollins, who isn't even going, I had him break it down today to the whole team afterwards, just because he's literally engaged on the sideline over there with all those young bucks, all the new guys, trying to help them. So, and I give a true credit to Justin Stepp. I've said it a million times, but the effect that he's had in our building is contagious.
The fact that you have maybe so many guys back and so many guys that have been with you for multiple years, does that allow you this spring to maybe really dial into the new guys a little more?
Players or coaches?
Players.
Without a doubt, but now our roster is just a little bit different structure. Like I had all the QBs get up and speak in front of the team the other day, and it's kind of the way college football is. There's 4 quarterbacks on our roster right now, right? And 2 of them, obviously Luke Altmaier and Ethan are 2 guys that transferred into our program, right? And then we have Trey Petty, who's been, going into his 3rd year with us now, and then you also have a newcomer with Carson Boyd. So half the room is transfers, half of them are high school kids. And if you go around to every position, that's kind of the way it is. So one of the things I made an emphatic point to those guys was, in our first meeting, we do an exercise where they got to get to know their teammate, right? 3 things they need to know about them: their full name, if there's any meaning to it, hometown and where they're from, where the college they're from, and the 3rd thing is something eventful in their life that's made them who they are. And we share that, and we go through a couple of those guys at the start of every meeting just so everybody gets to know each other, right? And I think that's the part we all have to understand, is it's a different time in college football where you don't have 3 years to build a relationship. You have to do it immediately. And that's what we've tried to do. Not only, I have a newcomer meeting every day for a half hour with our guys, and I go through the DNA of our program. I go through tough, smart, dependable. I go through the doors walking in, doors walking out. And it's for anybody that's never been in spring ball. And, I got about 34 guys in that meeting, right? So I think as conscious as we are as coaches, I think our players are even better at it.
Coach, how has recent changes in the rules on the field coaches enhanced your program?
Huge.
And it seems like you get good support from the athletic department to bring in quality guys.
Well, you saw, I don't know if you followed today, but there's a guy, K-Max. We brought in Harper Cole, who, ironically, my wife and I were at dinner in Nashville, and I was in a restaurant, and this young man walked up to me, and he's like, "Coach, I played for Coach Stepp, Coach Lenny." I'm like, "What?" And I took a picture, sent it to Stepp and Barry, and they're like, "I love Harper." So it was kind of weird how that one came about. We just added him in. Well, we announced that he was with us last week, but here's a guy that worked in the running back room last year at TCU, was a walk-on at Arkansas. I knew a lot of coaches that knew him, and he comes in and just been hugely impactful, not just offense, but also on special teams. Blake is a kid whose dad was a high school coach, to get him in the building. So Josh has been awesome. We basically, when that rule came in, we had 4 GAs and several analysts and QCs. Now it allows me to kind of have not only a positional coach, but an assistant at every position. And that's been invaluable, just the way we can run practice, the way we can meet with our guys, the individualism, the one-on-one. Now, we're not paying those guys a lot. I always laugh. My first year as a GA, I made $8,000, lived in a basement for $100 a month, right? And I know those guys are on that schedule, so I appreciate what they're doing. But also 3 guys that were in that role last year are now in the NFL. So it's a great opportunity for those guys.
Brett, both official visits are on your thing.
Yeah.
What's that mean for you? What's the impact of that? And
Yeah,
what's the
next
smart
week we
thing?
have, I believe we have 5 coming in, and we kind of treat recruiting now, even though it's happening in April, it's kind of like what we did in June. We bring in, in theory, a group that we kind of allocate. That first weekend in April is also Mom's Weekend, so we're going to do a fun thing with the moms on our roster. So we have some kids coming in. I think we only have about 5 guys, but that next weekend we're probably going to have anywhere from 10 to 12 players that we've been recruiting for a long time. In this world now, the biggest change, as you know, Jeremy, followed all the time, is not only is official visits, but official visits are unlimited now, right? And kids, like even when there used to be 5, I could probably count on one hand the amount of kids I recruited that took all 5 visits. They just didn't do it. It's a different kid now. They're not afraid to travel. They're not afraid. So kids are setting up 4, 5, 6, 7 visits. So just to get a weekend to get them in here is a big deal. So we're going to maximize it those first 2 weekends. Our 3rd weekend is actually Easter weekend, so I'm trying to stay conscientious to that. But then we'll have another bunch of. We don't do May because May our kids aren't here, and our kids are our best salespeople. So we don't do a lot of visits during May. We'll have to if we need to. But then in June, those first 3 weekends in June are all set for us on big visits.
Bro, how do you handle this in between with T-Raw as you await an answer? And I guess secondly, has there been any update?
T-Rod hit me up yesterday. He goes, Coach, I'm over in Pies for a Bible study last night about 7:30. I go, hey, I'm in my office, because he said it was dark, but I'm usually here. So he came up. We met for an hour last night. I literally texted the NCAA or the people that I could talk to. I asked him on Monday, asked him again today. It's just a work in progress. I told him he's doing everything he can possibly do. He had a great pro day. I think he's definitely found himself in a place to be at a minimum a free agent, possible draft. But if we were able to get him back, I think it's a guy. But we always say we're looking out for the good of the kid. The kid played in 5 games. Literally in 3 of those 5 games, he played less than 5 or 6 snaps. For him to not be given a 4th year is just of playing. It's just crazy. Hopefully that's going to come through. If not, he's got a great path in front of him.
Secondly, Jordan Anderson, we keep hearing his name, maybe getting some more tight end work. What do you like about him there, and how's that going?
Well, what we did purposely is we just shifted him to the tight end room. So he's been a full time. Yep. Well, forever's a long word.
Perfect.
In spring, we moved him in with Dish, and he's working as a tight end. I really, I gave him a graphic last year during the middle of the year when we kind of asked him to do it, and I gave him 3 or 4 tight ends in the last 2 drafts, and I wouldn't give their names, but I gave their numbers, right? Well, how big were they? How tall were they? What would they do? And I'm like, and he's like, yeah. And I'm like, all right. So he's been awesome. I think, even yesterday there was a one-on-one with him and D Rose. The thing about the line of scrimmage for a tight end, it comes on you quicker than it does a running back. So I think there's a little transition there, but he's extremely intelligent. He cares through the roof, and he's motivated to get on that field. So I've been very happy with his progress.
When you started your head coaching career, the early enrollee thing was very minimal, right? What does it mean now with all these guys? I mean, like you just said, 30 guys. Whatever.
Yeah.
How much different is it now than it was back then?
Well, just pure numbers. So my first ever was a guy by the name of Travis Frederick. All right, okay. Travis Frederick scored a 34 on his ACT. He's a double major, computer engineering, computer science.
Okay.
The first time I called him on the phone, I didn't know if I talked to him or his dad. I know I talked to somebody very mature and intelligent. He came in, and I'm like, this kid's going to prom in 3 weeks, and yet he's playing the way he did. Well, he became the first-round draft pick, Dallas Cowboys, and played in the NFL forever. So he was kind of the first one, and I'm kind of like, wow, it takes a special kind of kid to do this. Now we signed 20 kids, 12 of them came in January, and the value in it, the moms are the ones that are the most resistant, right? Like even Braden Trimble's mom, Brittany, would tell you like she did not want Braden to be here. She wanted to show that last semester with her son at home, which I understand. So usually we got to convince the kid and the coach, but also the mom, right? And I tell the mom 3 things. They're going to come home for graduation, prom, and any event that needs to be there for, right? I give them that unconditional. Trey Petty missed spring ball last year because he went home for prom, right? And I told him, I said, this better be a live-ass prom date you're going home to, right? But, you know, the best thing is you want kids to still be kids. But I think it's just a sign of the times. You know, there's a little bit of the COVID thing. The last 2 or 3 years, I think kids got ahead of it and they reclassified. But now kids are just so much more advanced. And the bottom line is they come in and there's no excuse for a kid not to graduate, you know, within the first 4 years of them being here. And a lot of them are graduating in 3.5.
Are you still looking to grow the roster over the next couple of months, or you feel like you're set? Or
Well, you know, our roster right now is about 110, 111. We got to be at 105 by Sunday of our first game against Western Illinois. That's all I know. The rules aren't really in play. There's a lot of uncertainty around college football, college athletics. I'm sure you've heard about it since the whole basketball thing has exploded. But like it's just a really unusual time. So I know we're going to have transition. We don't know who it is, how it is, but I think to be in this world that we're in and don't think something's going to happen in the portal world is going to be. You'd be oblivious to it. So I don't know exactly what it is. I really like our roster. I really like where we're at. But I also had to be proactive in case things happen, how things could change.
What did you see from Ethan and Trey as they, try to get more experience, more snaps?
Yeah. Well, first, Ethan, didn't know him coming into it. Was very impressed with him. You know, Thomas and I are very close, so Thomas was very, very up forward and honest about what had happened there and was overly positive. It matched up exactly with what Ethan said, and he came in. The one thing Ethan does, he walks, talks, and acts like a quarterback, right? Like he's got that mojo to him that's very real. I thought today was a great example. We had a 4-play set, first, second, third. So it's first down, second down, third down. Well, he was in with some second-string guys that kind of turned the wrong way, did the wrong thing. So the first 3 plays were kind of weren't very clean, right? And then on third down, there was a running back flare, and he hit it, money, on stride, perfect throw, perfect pass. He's had about 3 or 4 of those over the last 2 days or the last 2 practices that you're just kind of like, he's had adverse moment and he defines himself by success. Trey is playing the best he's ever played. Super excited about his confidence, his level. He said something in front of the team the other day that I thought expounded about what he is right now, about how much he's grown emotionally. So I think those 2 guys, and I'm telling you, Carson Boyd has been, now he had a live route today that was pretty awesome, and then he kind of put one in the dirt, right? And everybody's kind of letting him feel it. But Carson is incredibly, not only physically talented, he's very, very gifted, between the ears and what he sees.
James,
One more after this.
obviously James was part of a committee running back and had a lot of success. James White.
Oh, yeah.
Had a lot of success in that. What's the value for him to even really still reinforce that home to you guys?
Again, much to the first question, right? Like I've been able to bring some assistance in, and I knew when I was coaching James, if this is something he wanted to do, he'd be a good coach. I gave him heat because he wanted to do the media thing, right? But I just kind of thought, Thad, I went to Thad and I said, hey, what do you think? And Thad was like, oh, I'd love to have it, right? They didn't know each other, but I think the true balance of that always comes from, like Thad really established it last year, but now James can come in. He can definitely talk about that. I mean, I had 4 running backs, John Clay, Pittsburgh Steelers, ran for over 1,200. Monty Ball was up for the Heisman. James White was our 3rd-string running back and was a freshman Big Ten Player of the Year, and Melvin Gordon was behind him, going to be the first rounder. So those 4 guys kind of do remind me of the room I have. I'm not saying they're going to be that same, but there's a lot of carryover. And James, I went in his office yesterday and just sat down. It's just fun to hear him see what he sees here and what he knows, what he's seen from me in the past or what he's seen a part of. And it's just fun to have that integrated in our building. And James isn't a man of many words. Have they interviewed James yet? Like we'll let you do it. But he doesn't say a lot, but he does a lot, right? And to have him in the building as a resource, it's invaluable.
All good?
Thanks, Coach.